Hello, dear friends. Today we are going to start a new training course and we want to talk about Redis. Using Redis has become very popular among companies these days. I am not going to go into the history and introduction of Redis because you will get to know the features of Redis yourself. But if we want to say very briefly why Redis has become so popular, it is the incredible speed of Redis because it uses RAM memory. I just have one request, please subscribe to the channel and write your comments and opinions under the video. I will try to read and respond to all comments, of course I may not have time to respond to all of them. If you like the video, please like it and introduce it to your friends. Let's start the tutorial, but first let me say one thing. There are two ways to use Redis. One way is to use the cloud version of Redis, which we will see together now, and the second way is to install Redis on your own system, which we will see later, but for now, we will go to the cloud version of Redis. You just open this site and click on the Try Redis option. Then you register with your email and the registration process is very easy. After registering, you go to the login section. In the next step, you need to create a subscription. In the next step, we will create a database. Choose the free version from the available plans, and this version is enough for our project. Change the default name to whatever you want. Leave the rest as default and do not change anything. Then click the Create Database button. After a short time, the database will be created, and during this time it will be in pending status, as you can see in the upper right corner. Okay, the database has been created. To connect to this database and work with it, there is an online tool that you can access through the address www.rbook.cloud and work on Redis databases. Of course, you will also learn about another tool later. Okay, let's open the cloud site. The environment of this site is similar to the Jupyter Notebook software environment, where you can write Redis codes and connect to the database. On this site, you need to connect to the Redis database and then you can run Redis commands. Okay, let's connect to the Redis database. Click the Connect button at the top right of the page to open a window. In this window, you need to connect to the database, host addresses, port, username, and password. To get this information, we return to the Redis Cloud page, and on this page a little lower you will see the host addresses and port of the database. You do not need a username, but you must create a password. To do this, a little lower in the security section, you will see the password, which you can copy. After copying the password, enter the password in the required field. Then, to test the connection, click the test option, and if the connection is established without any problems, it will give the message, "Connection successful." After this step, click the Save button to save the connection to the database. To check if the connection to the Redis database is established, we enter a simple command like set key value and execute the command. If it responds OK, it means the connection is established. So, after connecting to the database, let's start and get familiar with the basic Redis commands. Let's go to the first command we want to learn about in Redis. We want to store a value in Redis. We want to store a text value, so we go to the set command. We name the variable message and give it a value of our choice, such as hello world. Then we run this command to save the desired value in the database. It responded OK, so the variable was saved in Redis. Now we create a new cell and we want to call the value saved in the previous step. To call a value from the database, we use the get command. I write like this: get message. For different types of data in Redis, we have different commands. So far, we have seen one of the text data commands. Let's get acquainted with other commands related to text. Of course, I should also add that there is a section called Commands on the Redis site itself where you can get acquainted with all the Redis commands in this section. This section also has a search feature. For example, search for the word text and you will see commands related to text. For example, let's get to know the set command better. In the set command, the key value refers to the name of the variable. Then we have the variable value. The next few items are not required and are optional. We can specify the expiration time of this data, which we will talk about the use of this option later. Let's see an example for this command. Well, let's open the cloud site and store a new value in Redis. For example, we store a data called color and the value red. Well, let's call this data. It is possible to see the output data at the same time as you set. To do this, you need to write the get command at the end of the set command. Now, when we execute the get command again, we see the new value, green, in the output. Putting the get value at the end of the set command is optional, according to the Redis website itself. So let's move on to the next parameter of the set command, which is XX. For example, suppose we want to store a new value called age. We set its value to 23 and put the XX parameter at the end. But what does the XX parameter mean? Let's go to the Redis website itself and see what it says about this parameter. The XX parameter causes the value of that data to be inserted into the database if that key already exists. For example, here we did not have the age key before, so the output of this command will be null. But if we give a value for the color key, since this key already existed, its value will be stored in Redis. So the XX parameter checks whether this key has been there before or not. But let's go to the NX parameter. It is exactly the opposite of the XX parameter, and if the key does not exist before, it stores the value in Redis. For example, here if we set the NX parameter for the color key, it will not store the value in Redis because it already existed, but it will store the age value because it did not exist before. That's enough for this session, and the discussion will continue for the next session. If you liked the video, Don't forget to like and comment. Goodbye.